Asmongold has a dangerous diet for reasons you may not expect. Most people look at how he eats and say he's eating like a kid with no rules. And growing up, we all wanted to eat nothing but fast food and candy bars and drink soda all day, every day. Either we knew we couldn't, or our parents would make sure that we wouldn't be allowed to. But then here comes Asmongold, who is known for having the stereotypical gamer habitat and lifestyle, where his room can be seen littered with random junk on the floor.
Make things more than what they are. And that's true.
Old food bags, wrappers,
Wendy's. I don't even remember when I had that.
and drink cups from fast food places.
Here's my desk. Ran out of room. Started putting them down here. And then I have some from over here.
Some of these cups are even cultivating their own biomes.
That's molded over Coke. That's more molded over Coke.
Quite honestly, it's just impressive that the room hasn't been deemed a biohazard for everyone in the neighborhood at this point. Despite this, Asmon brags about being in good health and never getting sick.
Feeling sick or whatever? I mean, not really, no.
I remember I got all the results of the blood test and everything was normal and healthy. And my dad didn't believe me.
I've never gotten sick.
No, I feel great.
Dude, you gotta be one of the most unhealthy people I've ever heard of.
I've never been sad eating a gummy bear.
He might never get sick and be in a healthy weight range, but does that make him healthy? And what dangers lie beyond someone with a gamer diet? Asmongold's diet mostly consists of fast food, soda, candy, beef jerky, and his famous steak and potato dinner. His fast food choice seems to be Wendy's and Chipotle. His Wendy's order is 6 spicy nuggets,
A 6-piece spicy chicken nuggets,
value fries,
a value fries,
small chili,
a small chili.
and if he's hungry, a double stack.
If I'm feeling really hungry, I will go and I'll get a double stack, right?
Now let's be generous and just analyze the nuggets, fries, and chili. Looking at this meal, we can see the calories at 785, 41 grams of fat, 70.5 grams of carbs, and 35 grams of protein. Now, one thing to note, I couldn't find the value fries nutritional info, so I assumed it was about a small fry. Now, this meal may not seem too bad, only being a little bit high in fat, but we need to take a closer look to really start seeing the problems. The saturated fat content in this meal is 11 grams, which is 64% the daily recommendation in this one small meal. It only gets worse. The sodium in this meal equals 2,050 milligrams, making it almost a total daily amount recommended at 89%. Now if we add the double stack on top of this, the calories would go up to 1,195, fat up by 24 grams, making the new total 65, carbs going up to 96.5 grams, and the protein up to 58 grams. The new saturated and sodium levels would be 21 grams, 2,740 milligrams, putting them both over the daily recommended amounts. Keep in mind, this is just in one meal he has, and it isn't accounting for other meals, snacks, or drinks in his diet. Now if he doesn't get to Wendy's, he'll go to Chipotle. We'll get a burrito bowl with brown rice, pinto beans, steak, queso, brown salsa, and cheese.
And shredded cheese.
And the thing is, I have no idea what brown salsa is. He just says it in the video, but I'm going to assume it's the green salsa. No one really questions him or mentions it after he says it, but looking it up just gave me their salsa options or the green salsa. Maybe it's a Texas Chipotle thing, I'm not sure. Nonetheless, we get a bowl with 740 calories, 30 grams of fat, 67 grams of carbs, and 45 grams of protein. Much better on the macros than the Wendy's meal. However, looking at the saturated fat and sodium content, it's still a bit on the high end at 14 grams of saturated fat and 1,380 milligrams of sodium. Being a little bit better on sodium, but slightly worse on saturated fat than the Wendy's meal. The last common meal he has on a regular basis is the $2 steak and potato meal. This is the simplest meal, and he's even made a video showing us how he makes it. From what I was able to find, it seems Asmon uses a thin cut, bottom round steak, and on top of the steak, he puts steak seasoning, lemon pepper, Worcester sauce, and A1 steak sauce. Now it seems like he puts a generous amount of seasoning on the steak.
Okay, all right. So I put this on the steak. There we go. All right, good. Oh my God, it's okay. All right. So then we get the lemon pepper, and this Izzy taught me how to make a steak, but I don't know if she'll like my own little things I put on. All right, so did I shake this one? I don't remember. Okay, so anyway, we'll put this on. I don't think I shook it. So then there you go. There's the steak. Oh, wow, what a good steak.
But we're going to be generous and just go off one serving. For the potato, he doesn't really do anything to it, doesn't clean it, doesn't put oil on it, doesn't even put butter or salt or pepper on it when it's done. All he does is stab the shit out of it and put it in the microwave.
This is how I cook a potato. Is I take the fork and I stab the shit out of the potato. This is what my mom told me to do because she didn't want to have to fucking put it in the oven. And I stab the fuck out of the potato, and I put the bitch in the microwave. I thought it was going to be bad too, but it wasn't. I put this bitch in for 8.5 minutes.
Alright, let's get to the stats. Assuming one steak out of a 4-pack that totals about 1.5 pounds, giving us a steak that is 0.375 pounds or 170 grams, and a potato about 150 grams, totaling approximately 511 calories, 13 grams of fat, 34.5 grams of carbs, and 61 grams of protein. The saturated fat is really good here since it only comes from the steak for this meal being only 4.5 grams. The sodium is better too, but that's not saying much. Getting down to 1050 milligrams, only 300 milligrams less than the Chipotle meal, or just under 50% of the daily amount. An important note is that Asmon only eats 1 or 2 meals a day.
I only eat maybe 1 or 2 meals a day. Like, there's never a day where I eat 3 meals.
Filling the rest of his calories with soda and snacks. Snacking is the hardest to figure out in exacts, but I can feel comfortable saying he eats quite a bit of beef jerky.
My favorite food is beef jerky. That's all I eat. Like, Emmy actually got me a bag of beef jerky, and I thanked her by telling her it was the wrong kind.
That's
I
sick.
immediately went and I showed her what the right kind was. I actually ate that entire bag in 2 days.
And at bare minimum, large Dr. Pepper or other soda from a fast food place. Soda is pretty simple. It's basically just calories from almost exclusively sugar, and Adam's favorite beef jerky, as far as I can tell, is Jack Link's teriyaki flavor.
We got Jack Link's teriyaki. All right, I really like this. This is what I usually get.
Couldn't figure out how quickly he eats a bag, but I'll assume about half a bag each day to be conservative. With that, we get 450 calories, 3 grams of fat, 96 grams of carbs, and 11 grams of protein. The saturated fat is negligible, but the sodium is not. The beef jerky alone is 960 milligrams of sodium, with the large soda providing an extra 100 milligrams on top of it. This isn't counting the candy bars he eats or any other externalities that I haven't caught or can't account for. So while he may be eating nothing but junk, the volume he's eating is so low that he's able to appear healthy. It also wouldn't surprise me if Asmon fell into the category of skinny fat that a lot of people can fall into, mainly from a poor diet and little exercise. Basically, it's someone that has a high fat to muscle ratio, despite weighing very little in the first place. Some of the concerns that come along with being skinny fat is insulin resistance, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure. Now, a lot of people are more likely to harp on whether Asmon is malnourished or whether the soda is rotting his teeth.
How do you not have scurvy?
What's scurvy? What even is that? I don't even know what that is. Disease caused by a deficiency of vitamin C, characterized by, what is this here? Swollen, bleeding gums and the opening of previously healed wounds. My mom would buy me a 3-pack of like 3 packs of beef jerky.
Yeah.
And then I would eat so much of it, my teeth would bleed. And then I would have to eat the rest of it. After my teeth started bleeding, I would eat even more of it because I would want to get rid of it.
That's
so it
the
wouldn't
scurvy.
do that to me anymore.
Yep,
That's the scurvy.
Yep.
But I don't see people mentioning the high sodium and saturated fat in the foods he eats. And then you might be asking, what is sodium and saturated fat in the first place, and what makes it so bad? Sodium is just salt. It makes your food taste good. It's also an important electrolyte. Not only can you find it in salty foods, but most, if not all, sports drinks. Now, I'd be hesitant to say avoid sodium and never consume more than the recommended amount. However, making sure that you get enough sodium in your system can be important for athletic performance. Just not a good idea to overconsume it if you just sit inside and play video games all day, mainly because salt can cause heart problems with high blood pressure. This happens because sodium will retain fluid, putting pressure on your blood vessels. Your kidneys are normally able to regulate sodium levels and flush it out. Some people are sodium sensitive, so they aren't able to do this, and the only recommendation for these kinds of people is to lower their sodium intake. Now, salt sensitivity is a bit complex and not fully understood. Who can have it depends on genetic and environmental factors. It's mostly recommended that you don't consume too much, mainly because most people don't need more than a daily recommendation. With fat, there's really 2 kinds, the good kind and the bad kind. Saturated fat is the bad kind. Normally you'd want to go for something high in poly or monounsaturated fats. Eating foods high in saturated fat increases low-density lipid cholesterol, which also contributes to high blood pressure. Asmon really is maxing his diet to be as bad for your blood pressure as humanly possible. Hopefully, nothing too bad happens because of it.
I guess I can probably just like say, I kind of don't want to hide it a whole lot. So I went to the emergency room that day.
On August 13th, 2024, Asmon uploaded a video about the health problems he's facing. He explains going to the ER from having a discomfort in his chest.
Like a discomfort in my chest.
They do an EKG while he's there and say everything is fine, except that his blood pressure is over 170.
And so they did an EKG on me and they said that I was okay. But my blood pressure was very high. My blood pressure was in like the 170.
Keep in mind, Stage 2 hypertension is 140. In the Steak and Eggs podcast, Asmon talks more about his health and improvements, including getting better sleep, because apparently having a bad diet and no exercise wasn't enough. Asmon was also getting 5 hours of sleep a day on average.
Like I was getting like 5 hours of sleep.
That's not good.
It was not a good time.
The explanation Asmon has for most of this is that it's from stress in his life.
So I was stressed out. And so I just decided to dial things back, relax a little bit more, chill the fuck out, take a different type of like stress medication. Like I am a extremely anxious person naturally.
Yeah.
And like I will overthink things and like overplan things. And like,
I wouldn't have guessed that actually.
Yeah, if somebody calls me and I call somebody and they don't answer the phone, it's probably because they're dead.
While it is true that stress does affect blood pressure, I can be confident his diet and lifestyle are massively at play. Asmon seems to know this as well. He talks about drinking less soda, not eating candy anymore.
We're drinking water now in between soda. I've added a protein bar into my morning breakfast, and I've started doing that. And so I eat a lot of candy, or I was, and I just decided to stop doing it.
Great.
I just stopped eating the candy. That was it. Problem solved.
Getting more exercise.
I've been exercising more and everything's okay.
What have you been doing?
The truth is just walking around very quickly and then moving around in the house, going up and down the stairs.
Okay.
I went for a walk yesterday. I walked like maybe a mile or something like that. And like, I don't know, I'd say it's like 10, 15 minutes. So like a pretty fast walk.
And buying protein bars and Gatorades.
I ordered protein bars, opened a Gatorade. I actually did get Gatorade. I got Gatorade as well.
I actually really like this change. It's small, so it's doable, as well as going in the right direction for bettering his health. This whole situation for Asmon is very scary, and hopefully a wake-up call to him and other people like him, especially those who eat junk food all day and don't get enough exercise. And look, I love Wendy's and soda and candy and other junk foods more than anyone else. I try and space out when I have these things so I can enjoy them without having to suffer any real health costs. So while eating this way may be fine in your teens, 20s, and maybe early 30s, but you never know when it's all going to catch up to you. Despite all this, there's still hope, and you can still very easily turn around your risk of heart disease by 80% just by making a few changes here and there, and you'll see what wonders it can do for your health. Never give up on a healthy lifestyle or becoming a healthier version of yourself. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. Good luck, Asmon, and I'll see you in the next one.